Wait, what? You drive a school bus?
No, silly. I take the bus. I'm in high school.
Announce you husband and wife.
I'm glad we waited.
Yep. The worst thing came right out the back of the...
that's not mine.
Glenn Quagmire is getting thrown in jail faster than you can say giggity.
Giggity, giggity. Giggity goo. Stick around.
I'll be ranking his offenses from petty misdemeanors to crimes so disgusting and perverted they are single-handedly keeping Family Guy at a 15+ age rating.
Cereal? You mean like multiple? Plural? Did not know he was doing all that.
Alrighty, let's begin with Quagmire's first crime. Deliberately spreading his transmitted diseases. Quagmire ain't called Captain Syphilis for nothing. He's absolutely riddled with like every STD and STI out there.
No.
Hepatitis C.
Joke's on you, I already got it.
Meningitis.
I'm a carrier.
Gonorrhea.
Patient 0. You're gonna have to do better than that.
I don't know, Joe. That's it. We're out of known diseases.
And the guy doesn't give a damn about spreading them to other people. He really is the most self-centered jackass there is.
Sharing is caring, but not when it's STDs, baby. Man, you gotta keep that shit to yourself.
Knowingly exposing others to disease is a crime and punishable by 3 months imprisonment. That seems incredibly lenient for something so serious. You're telling me Quagmire could literally give some chick AIDS and he'll only be getting a few months in the slammer as punishment? Lucky him. Everybody knows Quagmire is a addicted creep who's not exactly Ryan Gosling in the looks department. So it makes sense for him to get involved with a or two.
All right, you girls ready? What's going on? Don't you laugh at it!
In fact, Quagmire sees so many he literally requires an assistant to schedule his appointments.
Chris, could you please get Hannah a thank you basket and schedule her next appointment? I'd like to see her again in 2 weeks.
Of course. Mr. Quagmire can fit in you at 3 o'clock a week from Thursday.
That works.
And you know to fast the night before?
Yep.
And would you like to leave your panties in the fishbowl for a chance to win a free lunch?
How the hell is Chris gonna explain this job on his resume? Paying for is actually a crime in the state of Rhode Island. It is illegal, and those caught giving money to a hooker can be charged with procurement of. And the penalty? 1 year in prison. That doesn't seem so bad, but just think about how many times Glenn has been with a dude. And we know the Quagmire's had at least 1,000 different women because he once threw a Quag Fest to celebrate reaching said milestone.
All right, kids, now pay attention. All right, these are all of Quagmire's women organized by country. There's Brazil, there's Italy, and there's Thailand. Wow. Wow, they're young. We should go.
I don't even want to begin to imagine how many kids this dude has. I'd estimate that at least 75% of those 1,000 partners were. And if Glenn was charged for each one, that'd be 750 years in jail. Speaking of, there was an episode of Family Guy where Quagmire actually became a himself. When the pilots go on strike, Quagmire needs to find a way to make money. He stumbles upon a bachelorette party, and the women mistake him for a stripper. That inspires him to take up a job at the local strip club.
Bye. Yep. Oh, no. Can't be happy to this.
He's actually like super athletic for a guy in his 60s. Must have been all he's had. However, Quagmire's stripping career is short-lived, and he soon ends up taking on a more profitable job. I just can't believe women are actually paying to sleep with Quagmire. Surely there are better looking escorts in Quahog. Quagmire had with 11 women in that episode. The penalty for 6 months, so do the math. That's 5.5 years in prison. And I do feel kind of bad that Quagmire had to sell his body to lonely old ladies for money, but my heart also goes out to the clients. Glenn probably spread an STD to like every single one of them. Quagmire's very active life has resulted in him fathering hundreds of kids, and he has zero interest in being a parent to literally any of them.
Daddy?
Oh, God!
Daddy?
Oh, God!
Oh.
Papa?
Oh, God!
How many kids he got, baby?
Hey, there are no kids in here, right?
No,
He
just
got
me.
all the children,
Oh, thank God.
man.
That distinctive Quagmire jaw genes mean that Glenn is able to see his kids coming from a mile away. But there was one child who was born actually normal, and that eventually led to this very disturbing encounter.
A lot of fun with you tonight, Courtney.
Me too.
Drake.
Oh, giggity.
Did you just say giggity?
Sometimes I just blurt that out when I get excited.
Oh my God! Rub this up and down on the inside of your cheek.
Now that Glenn has been reunited with the daughter he didn't know he had, he decides to make up for the lost time by taking her to work with him. But I don't think the same rules of take your kid to work day apply when you're a pilot.
He almost
Now
smashed
roll.
his own daughter.
What? No way.
You're a
He
Quagmire.
almost
Grip it and
smashed
rip it.
his
Okay.
own daughter.
No, we're not doing that. I got my daughter with me today, you perverts.
He's not doing it today.
Another time. Probably got his kid with him.
Glenn Quagmire calling his colleagues perverts really is just the most ironic thing I can think of. Courtney's not a trained pilot, so allowing her to fly the aircraft and even be inside the cockpit mid-flight is a clear violation of aviation regulations. Glenn could be sentenced to 1 year in prison and fined $500. And if you ask me, that's pretty light for such a dangerous
That's very
crime.
light.
We're talking about hundreds of lives being at risk
Hundreds
here.
of 'em.
Now, you would probably have expected
Well, I won't
Quagmire
be
to
the
expose
pilot.
himself to his not-so-secret crush, LOIS, but the one time he did choose to flash himself, it was in front of an innocent delivery woman just trying to make ends meet.
Package for Glenn Quagmire?
Oh, excuse me. I got a package for you, too. All right. Nice try, but I built up an immunity.
Poor Chris has to live on a street with no one but two perverts. In Rhode Island, it's illegal to intentionally expose your genitals to the view of another, where doing so can cause distress or alarm to that person. And that delivery girl looked pretty distressed to me. Therefore, Quagmire is guilty of indecent exposure and can be sentenced to a whole year in prison. Womp womp. Meg is the very abused black sheep of her family, so whenever she gets an opportunity to have fun, I'm thrilled. After Peter is declared mentally unfit to look after children, finally, Meg has a sleepover at Cleveland's house, but it gets ruined by a certain someone.
Damn it, you guys are boring the crap out of me. Stupid, mindless chatter is what it is. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go back to my place and rent a dirty movie. This is ridiculous.
That was weird. Oh well. Hey, let's compare breasts.
I know Peter would let Quagmire perv on the girls to spoil Meg's night, but Cleveland's a decent guy. I bet Glenn actually broke in uninvited, and if that's the case, he's trespassing. And that wasn't the first time Glenn broke into someone's house to fulfill his desires. Check this out.
Chris, that it has even gone this far means you are a dirtbag.
Wow! Chris actually succeeded in making himself look like an even bigger creep than Quagmire. Congrats, buddy. Yeah, so trespassing is a misdemeanor. Not sure about the spying on teenage girls and Lois in the shower parts, though.
Yeah, I don't know about
That's
all that
certainly another crime. Glenn would be in prison for 1 year for the trespassing, and that means Meg has got exactly 12 months to try and throw an undisturbed slumber party. But with Quagmire out of the picture, I'm sure somebody else will ruin it for her.
Bitch. Oh, crap, I'm stuck in a stair.
Oh, God, kill me now.
Quagmire only cares about his schlong, so screw your property. Peter and his family are watching an air show, and you can probably guess who the star of the show is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Glenn Quagmire.
Seems like everything's going well, until...
Whoa, gonna need some help here. All right.
Definitely gonna need some help
I
for that.
really don't
chick.
think Quagmire can go 5 minutes without thinking about... Deliberately driving a hole through those 4 billboards is criminal damage. Glenn can be sent to prison for 1 year and fined 3 times the amount of damage he caused. I'd estimate that his fine would be approximately $10,000. He's gonna have to make some serious budget cuts to pay for that. So no more than one day, Quagmire. Invading the privacy of women is clearly one of Glenn's favorite pastimes.
Giggity. Would you just sit down and go to the bathroom already?
I really need to go.
She said she'll be out in a minute.
Remind me again why Peter or anyone is friends with this creep? Spying on someone else for your own gratification is more than just invading their privacy, it's voyeurism. And Quagmire can be sentenced to 1 year in jail for those first 2 clips alone. Then there's video voyeurism, and that's an even worse crime. Glenn would rightfully spend 3 years in prison for trying to film Meg going to the bathroom. Quagmire loves to gate crash other shows. And when he made a cameo in American Dad, he was, of course, being his usual pervy self. Francine believes she may be pregnant despite the fact that Stan has had a vasectomy. She ends up taking a super sketchy online pregnancy that requires her to do some pretty freaky things.
I first took several pictures of my genitals, and then one of me peeing on a teddy bear.
I don't think, that's real.
He's a legitimate doctor, Stan. See for yourself.
Dr.
Stan and Francine wait anxiously for the test results, but they never hear back from Dr. Vagers, who has already moved on to his next patient.
Please think closer. Thank you, Dr. Vagers. Wow.
Now that I think about it, Francine kind of looks a bit like Quagmire's dad, Ida. And that makes this whole situation 10 times weirder. Glenn Quagmire, aka Dr. Vagers, is obviously not a real doctor. That means he's guilty of fraud, and a conviction would result in 3 years in the big house. If there's one good thing about Quagmire, is that he always wants to help out his friends, and will even break the law to do so. Bonnie has just given birth, but Joe can't afford the $20,000 medical bill. I know the Europeans watching this video are in shock right now. So he and the guys turn to Lois's father, Carter Pewterschmidt, for help.
So that's pretty much it, Mr. Pewterschmidt. Is there any way you could help us out?
Of course I could, but it's funnier to me if I don't. In about an hour, I'm gonna piss away 20 grand.
Carter really is the final boss of capitalism. Not taking no for an answer, Peter suggests the guys rob the money from Pewterschmidt. Now, cue the most bizarre heist ever.
Uh-oh. It's a combination lock. I'm just gonna have to cut through it. Good thing I brought Reese Witherspoon's chin. I'm in.
The guys are just about to get their paws on the money, but Joe calls off the heist after Lois convinces him to do the morally right thing for baby Susie's sake. However, Joe does get to pay his medical bill in the end.
How'd you get your dad to give him that 20 grand?
I said I wanted to hire a divorce lawyer.
For his part in the heist to steal Carter's money, Quagmire would be sentenced to 5 years in prison for burglary. Maybe he'd get away with it by blaming Peter in Cleveland, but I don't know if he'd do that. Poor Brian always seems to be on the receiving end of the other characters' tempers, and when it's not his own family beating him, it's Quagmire. Glenn's father, Lieutenant Commander Dan Quagmire, pays him a surprise visit. Quagmire introduces Dan to his friends, but instead of welcoming their buddy's father with open arms, the guys do this.
So all of a sudden, we get these orders. Day of all days, I have to put on a helmet. I remember majestic orange. The breeze was just warm enough, but, you know, not so warm that because let me tell you, I do hate to perspire.
Oh, sorry, that's my auto spell correct. Yeah, he's super gay.
What are friends for, huh? Quagmire's pissed about the jokes at first, but when Dan's fellow sailors have this to say about him at the Navy ball,
he'd walk into an army barracks and make every private there feel important. Yeah, he just knew how to stroke those privates.
Your dad was cock of the walk. Every day at rifle training, he'd help me clean my butt.
Your dad had the best penis in the military.
Okay, just stop!
Glenn decides to confront his father about his... Dan comes out to his son, but not as a homosexual, as transgender. After getting his change and becoming Ida, she meets the canine of her dreams at the bar. And when Glenn eventually finds out Brian hooked up with his father, he really lets him have it.
One eternity later.
That's what you do when someone
Despite having
your
been
dad.
beaten senseless, Brian still has to be a smartass and get the last word in.
Dad.
For beating Brian black and blue, Quagmire would be convicted of animal cruelty and caged in a prison cell for the next 5 years. With his hundreds of 18 to 20-something-year-old available on speed dial, Quagmire's got access to all the young chicks he could dream of. So why does he get caught sleeping with underage teens? When Peter finds out his birth certificate actually reads Justin Griffin, he embodies his new cool kid persona by throwing a house party.
Peter, what the hell is going on?
Dude, is that your mom?
No, I'm not his mom, you little bastard. All right, everyone out of here.
A bunch of underage girls happen to be at this middle-aged guy's party, and one ends up going home with Quagmire.
Wait, what? You drive a school bus?
No, silly. I take the bus. I'm in high school.
No. Always get their IDs.
Sorry to bother you, but we're following up on a tip. Did you have sex with this underage girl? Quagmire, I'm afraid you're under arrest for statutory rape.
And that is why Quagmire will never get his own spin-off show. In Rhode Island, an adult is guilty of statutory rape, but the victim is between the ages of 14 and 16. This disgusting creep would have only gone to jail for 5 years in the real world, but in the show, the judge sentences him to 20 years in the clink. And just when I thought the show was finally going to give Glenn his comeuppance, he gets completely off the hook.
Mr. Quagmire, wait. I wanted to tell you the good news in person. Your sentence has been commuted.
I don't understand.
Hello, Glenn.
What's going on here? By the way, Your Honor, your fly is down.
Well, let's just say some new DNA evidence was produced.
And an impressive amount, I'd say.
Mom, did you?
Yep, twice.
Yep, Quagmire's deeply religious Christian mom spared her son jail by screwing the judge. A grown man punching a 13-year-old kid is not cool. And yes, I'm still looking at you, Mr. Glenn Quagmire. Chris is determined to prove to everyone that the evil monkey in his closet is real. He sets up a camera to capture video evidence, but finds some pretty weird footage the next morning.
Yep, that's how you do it. That's what you do to him. That'll teach him. Yep. Right in his eyeball.
So, was that punch supposed to be part of the prank, or does Quagmire just not like Chris? And the scariest thing that happened that night wasn't Quagmire punching a kid, the evil monkey in the closet, or even Lois stealing her son's wallet. It was this.
Oh, ugh. Huh?
You gotta hand it to Herbert, though. He really is a talented painter. Anyway, giving a kid a black eye is a very serious crime. Quagmire would get charged with child abuse and could be sent to jail for 10 years. I'm only halfway through this video, and Quagmire's already earned himself nearly 800 years in the Quahog City Jail. And if you think Glenn couldn't possibly do anything worse than battering a dog or having sex with a minor, you're wrong. Some of these next crimes I'm about to show you involve death, destruction, and profiting off of human misery. Quagmire must have the wildest search history. I mean, look at what he's watching here.
Oh my God!
Yeah, while he was watching clown.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It turns out Quagmire is so obsessed with that he actually resorts to banging the dead. I'm not talking about zombies or people dressed up like zombies. I'm talking legit dead, cold corpses. In the Cleveland show episode, Gone with the Wind, Cleveland is preparing for the karaoke competition final, but his rehearsal gets interrupted by some sad news. His ex-wife, Loretta, is dead. Quagmire arrives in Stool Bend with the body. I don't like where this is going already. He explains how Loretta died, and surprise, surprise, dumb old Peter is to blame.
Do you know how she died?
It all started when Brian dug up a brontosaurus skull.
All right, little more, little more. Oh, time for United States of Terror.
Oh, no, 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 no! That must be like one of the most embarrassing ways to die. Rip Loretta, man. And Cleveland isn't even mad that Peter killed his ex-wife. He's a forgiving guy. But he must be super forgiving to give Quagmire a free pass on this.
Why is she wearing a French maid's costume?
Because I wanted to nail a dead French maid. Giggity, giggity!
Seth MacFarlane really wasn't exaggerating when he called Quagmire an appalling human being. Necrophilia is illegal for obvious reasons. If Quagmire were convicted, he'd be sentenced to 10 years in prison. And it'll definitely be a long, lonely decade. Because let's face it, who's gonna want to befriend the guy in for screwing the dead? Sleeping with a corpse is already a disgusting, perverted, degenerate act, but having with another species debatably might be worse. Leave it up to you for that. In the Family Guy universe, interspecies relationships don't even seem taboo. I mean, just take a look at Brian's girlfriends or Quagmire's wedding day.
Announce you husband and wife.
I'm glad we waited.
And a marriage wasn't even the worst thing to come out of that relationship.
Yep. The worst thing came right out the back of the...
that's not mine.
Dang, Quagmire's genes are so strong, even a giraffe inherited his jawline. While fathering a baby humaff might be fascinating to some scientists, though...
And he cheated on the giraffe with a different giraffe. Must be a heavy petting zoo, huh? Cause this... we gonna edit that out.
The law will find it absolutely despicable. Making love to a giraffe, I can't even believe I'm saying this, is zoophilia, and that's a crime in the real world. Quagmire will be locked up for 20 years, and I doubt his giraffe son or any of his hundreds of kids would want to visit him during that time. The Quahog Harvest Festival Parade is in town, and each street must create a float. And this is what the guys at Spooner Street come up with. Hey, that guy kind of looks like he could be at Quagmire's post-jaw surgery. The float is such a hit that it reminds Peter about that time the guys got free cable.
Oh, we are not bad people. We just don't want to pay $12 a month for Cinemax.
Now, I'm not condoning violence, but $12 does seem like a lot, especially considering this is the very early 2000s. Spooner Street's float ends up winning the contest, but Brian's love of shiny objects means they'll never get to keep the trophy.
Oh.
While the float was kinda cool, throwing punches at that cable guy certainly wasn't. Quagmire would be charged with assault and could be jailed for 20 years with no cable television. Oh, the horror! Remember that time when Quagmire got married and regretted the whole thing 5 minutes later? Peter wins the Wheel of Fortune and his prize is a free maid for the week.
No one's cleaned my belly button in a long time.
What is this?
A curtain of parliaments.
Please tell me Joan is getting paid a lot of money for this gig. Peter introduces Quagmire to his maid, and they fall in love at first sight.
I'm in love.
Quagmire and Joan get engaged, and this causes him to turn over a new leaf and become a decent, non-perverted member of society. Peter is heartbroken to have lost his own personal maid and his friend at the same time. To try and win him back, Peter takes Quagmire to his most favorite place on Earth, the strip club.
Time for your lap dance.
No, guys, I can't do that. It's degrading to women.
Come on, Quagmire, it's gotta be you. I'm married, Cleveland's got foot odor, and Joe's dead from the waist down.
While that didn't work, something else does happen in the wedding reception that instantly transforms Glenn back to his old self.
Oh, look out, champagne. Oh, Lois, you're all wet. Here, let me jiggle you dry.
Giggity, giggity, God, I've made a terrible mistake.
Quagmire wants to get a divorce, but Joan has other ideas.
Mistake.
What?
But I told them they didn't know what they were talking about.
Good, because if you ever left me, I'd cut you.
And that is precisely why you don't get married at first sight. To try and escape Joan's clutches, Quagmire fakes his own death with a little help from his friends.
Here's Quagmire walking through the park. I just happened to be there with my video camera when a ninja shows up. And then a Nazi came. And then an evil pots and pans robot. Destroy.
Joan obviously doesn't believe that, so Glenn tries faking a heart attack instead. That works, and his funeral is put in place. The plan was to bury Quagmire alive and then dig him up later, but Mayor West has just declared that all graves will be covered in concrete.
Well, Mayor West is afraid of zombies, so the city says all caskets must be encased in concrete.
And Joan is just so relieved that her husband is alive. But death has already arrived and must take a soul with him. Joan begs for Glenn to be spared, but ends up dying herself when she touches Death. Before his wife is taken to the afterlife, though, Quagmire asks Death for a quick favor.
Hey, Death, can you leave that body here for another 5 minutes?
No!
That's disgusting!
Ew. Faking your death doesn't happen a lot in Rhode Island, so it's difficult to say how Quagmire would be charged, but I think he'd at least get 20 years for it, 10 for faking his own death, and another 10 years for the necrophilia part. Dirty old Quagmire has perved on dozens of unsuspecting female characters throughout the show.
Well, hello, LOIS.
Quick, I need to borrow your car. I've got a bar mitzvah to stop.
No problem. Let me grab my keys.
Yo, this is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in any show.
Didn't mean to wake you. Bonnie's a weird slut who's always letting you know she's open for business.
When am I doing that?
Oh, come on. When are you not doing that? With that boo-boo baby voice and that still breastfeeding rack? Give me some of that. Hey there, sweetie. How old are you?
16.
18. You're first.
Mom!
I like where this is going. Giggity, giggity, giggity.
A lot of time and energy to this relationship with patience that it could grow into something much more significant. If you're just stringing her along, well, then I say I've lost a lot of respect for you, Brian.
And Glenn is so creepy, even Samara from The Ring is afraid of him. The fact that Quagmire can actually be turned on by a literal demon shows just how messed up his addiction is. Glenn would get 5 years for each account of harassment, so those clips alone will earn him 30 years in prison. And we can only hope there are no female prison wardens working at the Quahog City Jail. You know, I totally forgot that Quagmire has a sister. Probably because she's been blessed with a normal jawline. Brenda and her abusive boyfriend Jeff visit Quagmire in the hospital while he recovers from this self-induced accident.
Holy crap! Oh my god! He must have autoerotically asphyxiated himself!
Yeah, while he was watching clown.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I thought his clown kink was weird. However, Quagmire doesn't need any medical intervention to recover, just Brenda singing.
Glenn, don't die from autoerotic asphyxiation. Your friends want to go fishing with you.
This song is from childhood?
Live to see tomorrow, October 31st, 2011.
Glenn is discharged, and Jeff and Brenda stay the night so that she can tend to him. But nobody in the neighborhood can sleep thanks to Jeff's angry fits of rage. The next day, Brenda has a black eye and reveals that she's pregnant. Quagmire worries if Jeff might eventually kill her and the child. Peter suggested they just beat the guy up, but Quagmire wants to do something even more sinister.
We kill a bastard!
Whoa, whoa, Quagmire.
If I suck at my job was a person, it would definitely be Joe Swanson. Look at him just sitting back letting his friends plot murder on his watch. The guys invite Jeff on a hunting trip, but they never get the chance to execute their plan because Peter accidentally tells Jeff that they're going to kill him. So Jeff grabs a gun and is about to kill Quagmire.
I guess that little baby's gonna grow up without an uncle.
But Glenn gets one chance to save himself after convincing the egotistical tough guy to put the gun down and fight man to man.
You know, if you had any balls, you'd put that gun down and we could settle this like men.
Suit yourself, man.
I guess Jeff was right. Quagmire really is a scrawny bastard. Why didn't he just knock him out with his massive jaw? Jeff starts digging a hole to bury the body, but Quagmire's not finished just yet.
What the hell? I killed you!
I choke myself every day, you bastard.
Really? How do you do that every day? I don't get it. Oh, God!
I kind of wish they added a giggity at the end of that, I'm not gonna lie. The guys head home, and Joe, the cop, writes a letter to Brenda pretending to be Jeff, explaining that he ran away and just won't ever return. Who knew getting away with murder would be so easy? But let's pretend Quagmire got caught and was put on trial for murder. If found guilty, the best case scenario is he gets let out on parole in 25 years. The worst case scenario, he's locked up for life. And even though Jeff was a scumbag who had it coming, I don't know if the judge would give him a lesser sentence due to that. So it's heavily implied in Family Guy that Glenn is a serial kidnapper. We first see Quagmire drug and kidnap Brian's love interest, Brooke.
All right. Oh, forgot about you guys. Well, I guess your date's over. Good night, Brooke. Thanks for a lovely evening.
Next, the episode Family Guy Light revealed to us that Glenn's house is fitted with booby traps to stop women from escaping.
Gonna have sex with you. Guys, let me out of here!
Lastly, Quagmire once let this very dark and disturbing secret slip.
What do you say we hit another bar? Keep it going.
I can't. There's a girl tied up in my basement who needs some food.
You funny, Pointy Man.
Those clips show us that he's kidnapped at least 3 people, and kidnapping carries a penalty of 30 years. So Glenn, for these specific instances, will be spending 6 very long decades in jail, which is exactly what he deserves. We don't see a lot of Mort in the show, but when we do, something memorable usually happens. Peter's stupidity leaves Quagmire hurt yet again.
Oh! Holy crap, Quagmire, you all right?
No, I'm not all right. My head's gushing blood, you idiot!
They go to Mort's pharmacy to get medicine, but find out that it's closing down. Quagmire and Peter try to stop Mort's business from going under, but end up massacring a bunch of teenagers instead of saving the business.
We got a giggity over there on the 32nd floor. I'm gonna go in for a closer look. All right.
Look out!
Oh, no!
As that was an epic fail, they decided to just burn down the store and get the insurance money instead. But Joe quickly notices things don't add up about the fire, and this is confirmed when he listens to a voicemail Peter accidentally pocket dialed to him the night of the fire.
Look at that fire we started, Quagmire and Mort. You know who I don't miss is Joe.
Joe arrests his friends without a second thought, and I was shocked by that. He's totally chill with Quagmire killing Jeff and kidnapping women for but he'll handcuff the guy straight away over a bit of insurance fraud. Yeah. Joe really needs to get his priorities checked. 3 crimes were committed in that episode: insurance fraud, arson, and manslaughter. The school bus can carry around 40 teenagers, and the maximum penalty for manslaughter in Rhode Island is 30 years. Add another 40 years for the arson and insurance fraud, and Quagmire's looking at 1,240 years in jail. But hey, at least Peter and Mort will be there to keep him company. As well as being a serial kidnapper, Glenn is also a serial... Big shocker, I know, and there are many episodes to prove this. Exhibit A, the episode of Mission Impossible reveals that Quagmire is a registered offender.
In accordance with Megan's Law, I'm obligated to inform you that, you know what, that's fine, I'll take the kids.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Megan's Law is a federal law that prevents children from coming into contact with people like Quagmire who have been convicted of crimes against children. Exhibit B, in the episode It Takes a Village Idiot and I Married One, the Griffins spend the night at Quagmire's vacation cabin and discover it's fitted with this booby trap. I think the kids and Brian will need some eye bleach pronto. We also see Quagmire come across a tied up...
That machine comes with built-in doggy-style enforcement? I had to get 6 of them.
Junior high cheerleader in the episode, Peter Griffin, husband, father, brother.
Don't you tell women on me. Oh.
Dear Diary, jackpot.
I don't think I want to know what he was doing in the closed bathroom in the first place. And finally, Exhibit C, don't forget about that time Glenn lent Meg a huge bag of his roofies.
I was wondering if I could borrow some roofies?
Oh, sure, just a sec. Seeing anyone special these days?
Hey, obviously, right?
Roofies is a street word for a sedated drug named flunitrazepam, a drug commonly used to commit date. Judging by that half-empty bag, I would guess Quagmire has probably, or at least attempted to, around 50 women. It's punishable by 10 years in prison, so Quagmire would be sentenced to 500 years in the jailhouse at the bare minimum. Quagmire has a stable job at the airport that earns him plenty of money, yet he still chooses to profit off of human misery. After watching a redneck comedy show, Peter is inspired to become one. He starts doing typical redneck things like bringing the couch out on the lawn, chewing tobacco, and attempting to drive a pickup truck.
What the hell, my car! Oh, damn it! Hey, come back! Oi, jump on now!
Okay, so my tie's a little rusty, so you're gonna have to forgive me here, but I believe Glenn is basically shouting, "Come back here, you I already paid for you." And those aren't the only women he's trafficked either. Trafficking another person is a serious felony, and Quagmire can be imprisoned for 50 years and fined $40,000. I saw around 11 women in those clips. That means Glenn's total sentence would be 550 years in jail, plus a $440,000 fine. Quagmire is so much more than a creepy old pervert, though. He's literally a mass murderer. And his victims? The Simpsons. Yes, even the kids. Quagmire travels all the way to Springfield to bone Marge Simpson.
3 times in a row! You're amazing, Glenn!
Oh, I just take a lot of pride in what I do.
And just like a bad soap opera, Homer barges into the bedroom and catches his wife in the act.
Hey, what's going on here?
But instead of running away, shouting giggity giggity, Quagmire chooses violence.
Oh my God!
I'm calling the police!
Ay, caramba! Mom and Dad are dead!
Oh no! Who will pay for my saxophone?
That pause before he decides to shoot baby Maggie was so sad. And here's a little secret about that scene. It was Family Guy's retaliation to The Simpsons posting a photo of Peter Griffin on a wanted poster for plagiarism. Fox actually banned the scene too, probably because it was too dark for TV. This pissed off Seth MacFarlane, who thought the channel was playing favorites between the shows. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to Quagmire. Murder carries a 25-year sentence in Rhode Island, which means Glenn will rot in jail for 125 years, forever haunted by the indelible image of the 3 little kids he killed. Altogether, Quagmire's total prison sentence is 3,413 years. That's certainly not worthy of a giggity giggity.